All right, everyone, we're alive. Hello, hello, everyone. Happy Friday, Friday. We are celebrating the release of the Dad book. So we celebrated the release of the Mom book last month for Mother's Day. And just in time for Father's Day, we put out the Father's Day version of prayers and inspirations for dadpreneurs. And we have one more author who is kind of in the wind right now. I don't know if she's having technical difficulties. So hopefully, let's all say a prayer, y'all, that she can come on. So greetings to everyone who is here. If you're listening live, if you're watching it on demand, if you're watching it later, if you're watching it on the website, doesn't matter. We're just glad you're here because we're gonna have some good fun today because this is Friday, the last day of the week. You know, entrepreneurs really don't care. We don't care about Fridays. We always wind up working anyway, and Saturday and Sunday. Okay, so I have three of the authors of the book Prayers and Inspiration for Dadpreneurs. And I'm very happy to say that I have first time author in here, Alvin R. Dunlop Jr., my hubby of 30 years. Awesome. I wish you had your little thing that says awesome. Can you do it? Let's see if we can hear it.
Awesome.
Love it, love it, love it. Okay. All right. So today you can actually meet the actual authors, see why they came into the program here, the project, the book, and then hear their stories. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to introduce Melissa. Melissa, I'm going to put you on the stage. And I want you to, I know you're the lucky first one, right? And so I haven't even introduced myself or anything, but I will. I'm Carol J. Dunlop. I have Alvin R. Dunlop, and I have Melissa T. Hinton here, three of the authors. We are waiting on one more, Dr. Diana Moy. I'm hoping I can't remember her last name. Why? She's got a double. Moy Mitchell. Sorry. You know, getting old, you can't remember nothing, right? So, Melissa, I want to put you up on the screen, and I would love for you to tell everyone about yourself, about your business, and why you decided to come into this project.
Okay. Hi, I am Melissa T. Hinton. As Carol mentioned, I am the owner of the Hinton Agency, and we create, implement, and manage automations, processes, and systems for entrepreneurs who are looking to scale their business so they can live the fulfilled life in their business. I've been in business maybe 10, 12, somewhere around that years
Somewhere
now.
along in there. Yeah, yeah. I remember when you
Somewhere along there.
started. We've known each
Yes.
other a long time.
Yes. And I came on board for this project because it was time to kind of acknowledge and honor my dad for the role that he has played in my life. So he's been in and out of my life for all of my life. And just to let people know that forgiveness is okay, and moving forward is okay. And so that he can know that as well.
Awesome. And I read your story, I almost cried. I'm telling you. I read the story. I was like, oh. Yes, yes. Well, it kind of was like, I'm reading my own story here or something, you know, I don't know. We have a similar thing with the dad stuff, except I never got to meet my dad. But your story was very touching. So I want people, look at the bottom of this screen right now. Get your copy today because this is our official launch. Go to csicorporation.com/dad book and get your copy. It's only $1.99 and help us get all of us to bestseller again. Alvin, it will be the first time for you. Melissa, I think this is your third, right? Well, this will be a fourth when we get bestseller on this. Awesome. Yes. Awesome. I love it. All right, Alvin, I'm going to bring you up next. And I would like to know from you.
I love it.
Yeah, I know he's got that little thing over there. You can tell he's an engineer, right? All his little sounds and stuff. So I'm going to bring you up, Alvin, and kind of tell us why you decided to come into the project and give us a little bit of your story, okay?
Okay.
That's my husband, y'all. That's my husband.
Hold applause to the end.
Okay, go ahead.
What?
So we want to know why you came into the book. and what's your part? What's your role in CSI? Because no one gets to see you. They think you really don't exist, but you actually do.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm the backbone of CSI. I take care of all the computers, the virus, intrusion detection, anything dealing on the computer side is what I do. Carol makes it look pretty. You know, I just do the background work.
Yes, definitely. He doesn't step out in the front too much, but he's back there making everything happen. So, Alvin, I know that your dad's story as well. I was just crying all over the place reading all the stories. So, tell us about your dad, why you came into the book, and how this has really impacted how you view him, you view your father.
Well, when you first approached me, I always wanted to do something, to just so my dad could know, that I thought about him because he died when I was young. So
Yeah.
this was more of a tribute to him and all the things that he have done for me and our family growing up and what he taught me that I still deal with today.
Yeah.
So,
It was
all
a very touching story when you read it, because he died when you were like, what, 13, right? Or somewhere around in there.
like important time yet.
Yeah, yeah. I think they always say, they're looking down on us from heaven. So I think that your dad is really is really proud of how you honored him, what you wrote about him, and how the story is presented. So you did a really, really great job. So what made you finally decide to say yes? Because I was hounding you for a couple of months trying to get you in here.
Well, I always wanted to do something, you know, for my family. And when you came to me and we kept talking about it, I said, you know what? Yeah, this will really be good to get off my chest. I'm not one of the person that, always in front of the camera and stuff like that. So the writing was actually a way for me to get stuff off my heart.
Good deal. Hey, Nadine, thanks for joining us here. I see Nadine is here. All right, Alvin, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate you doing this, because y'all don't know how hard it was. When you have your partner with you and you're doing your stuff, and you tell them, "Hey, we're going to do this or we're going to do that." And they're looking at you like, "What?" So it took me a while to actually convince him to come in the book. I'm just so glad that he did. Now, I wanted to I just welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm Carol J. Dunlop. I am the 9-time best-selling author, and this will be my 10th book, 10-time best-selling author. Y'all got to help us get to bestseller. So I wanted to tell you real briefly about my dad's story, because my dad, I never met him. He died before I ever met him. He lived just maybe a couple of miles or so. I know, right? It's nice to see Alvin on camera. He tries to hide out a lot. But like I said, I didn't know my dad, and the first time I actually saw him was in the casket, and I actually put this in the story. But I also said God always has a ram in the bush, and my ram in the bush was my daddy Frank, and he was my grandmom's second husband. And he took me in like I was, the best little girl ever. And he loved me. He showed me what a man should be in life. And so I really wanted to use this book to honor him as well, and not just like let it be a Debbie Downer as far as, I don't have a dad and all that. Because, a lot of kids don't grow up knowing their father, but I had a great father figure, and I am thankful to God for that. I really, really am. So, Melissa, what do you hope that people will gain from your story talking about your father?
Um, it's hard and hurtful when you experience the absence.
Yeah.
Because everyone wants to know who they are, where they
Yeah.
come from, what they're made up of. And when that absence is there, it creates this deep void.
Yeah.
And I was able to meet my dad,
Oh, good. Good.
At 9. And then from there, he was still in and out of my life. And so, although I met him, it was still that void there. And I
Yeah.
had to find in others what I wanted or needed from what I thought of my dad,
Right.
And
Right.
what I learned is that you can learn from the absence. You
Mm-hmm.
can
Mm-hmm.
become something more than you thought you could be from the absence.
Definitely. So, what do you hope that people will gain from reading your story and being entrepreneurs? How do you think that that will help them, your story?
Well, for me, the parts that I did get to see of my dad, I saw him being an entrepreneur. That's not what he called himself, but that is what we know an entrepreneur to be, today.
Mhm.
And so I was able to pick up, that energy, that spirit from him in the moments that I was able to be around him.
That is so good. That is so good. Okay, Alvin, what about you? What do you hope people will gain from from reading your story and looking at your dad as the original dadpreneur, as you said in the book?
Well, first of all, I'm from the Virgin Islands, St. Thomas, and um, he was well known there. You know, he was in the service. Then he came home. He made big changes at home. So he was well known. And my tribute more for people who didn't know him, who didn't get a chance to know him, and also for me because I lost him so young. That the things that he told me growing up is what stuck with me. A
Yeah.
comfortable man, and the things always look out for your family. Family come first. After God, and so that was the main thing for me. To put forward in the book.
And I think you did it. I really think you did it. Because I think he, like I said, I think he would be really, really proud. I love that you put in there he was a dadpreneur before dadpreneur was even invented because he did, he had a side hustle going with the taxes and he was in finance. He did all that stuff in the Virgin Islands. And they even named that softball tournament after
Bas-
him.
Basketball tournament.
Basketball. Sorry, yeah, but he was a sportsman, and I missed out on knowing him. You tell me all these funny stories about him, and I was like, man, I wish I had known him even a little bit because I know we would have gotten along really, really well.
I wish too.
So I know, but hey, life goes on. And sometimes we can benefit, like Melissa says, from the absence. We can learn from that. And I wanted to say I did learn from the absence of not having my father there. I mean, it was tough. I'm not going to say to anybody it was easy but my mom was super awesome. She played the role of dad and mom and confidant and taking care of us and all of that. So I will forever be indebted to her. The only time I was really kind of ticked at her was when she made me go to his funeral and I had never met him. And I was so angry that I had to go and look at him and see him. And then they had his family, his other family that I don't know if it was his biological kids or whatever. And I was like, how dare them put me in the line to march down the thing with them. I was out of pocket, I think. Really. You talk
Yeah.
about respect at funeral. I didn't have any. I was like, I don't regret it because I was in my feelings and I had nobody to express that to. And that's kind of what happened. But when I get really, really down and depressed or whatever, Alvin and I talk a lot about the dads and stuff like that. And I always think about my daddy, Frank. I was so young when he passed as well. I was only 6. And I loved him until the day he died. And then one day he just wasn't there. Because at 6, you don't even understand what's life, what's
Mhm.
death, what's going on. But my mom did such a great job. My mom and my grandmom did such a great job of just helping us get through it. And since he was kind of, he was in our lives all the time, Daddy Frank, from when I can remember, and then he was gone. But during that short time that we had him, he taught me love. He taught me respect. He taught me what it felt like to be loved and to have a man of honor in your home. And then that's what God sent me when he sent Alvin. Because I tell y'all, I prayed for him. I prayed for Alvin. I wrote the things down that I wanted. It was a short list, but I did write it down. And God just brought him to me. And the first time I was like, God, really? Really, this one? Because Alvin, we used to have some crazy, crazy discussions, and I'm like, how can this man tell me this? And I was all like that. But I have to say, I know he was brought up by a great mother and a great father because Alvin is the ultimate gentleman, the ultimate gentleman. He loved my kids like they were his own. He brought them up. And he has made our life just wonderful. And I know that it's a tribute to parents. Yay to parents everywhere. Alvin, you got a clapping
Yes.
thing over there?
Oh, definitely.
Let me see. Yay! All right, y'all. I want you to go out there and get that book. Go to csicorporation.com/dad book. It's only $1.99 because we have something to do. We got to get Alvin to bestseller because this is his very first book and we
Yes.
want him to be a bestseller. And as a matter of fact, when Melissa came in, her first book was with me. She was a bestseller. And then she did another
Yes.
book, another bestseller. Now she's a 3-time bestseller, getting ready to be 4. What? I always say I create best-selling authors. Nadine, who's on here and has been chatting away. Yeah, I think Nadine is like a 5-time bestseller now. I don't know if she's catching up, so I got to watch out. But also, I wanted to let y'all know a little bit more about the book. The book is not just the stories of these dads, these awesome dads. And I wanted to say, I don't think Diana is going to be able to make it for some reason, Dr. Diana, but I would like to tell you that she has a great story in here. I think she said that her father was a minister, and y'all just need to read her story because she grew up in that mom, dad home, 2 parents in the house and everything that a lot of Black people don't even realize could ever happen. When I met Alvin and he said he grew up with his mother and his father, I was so jealous. I really was. I was all like, yeah, your mom and your dad. Oh my goodness. A lot of African-American, Black, or whatever we don't call ourselves these days, we don't grow up with, the mother and the father. And unfortunately, I know that Dr. Diana, that her parents did divorce, but the lessons that she learned from her parents helped her to move on to what she's doing now, being that awesome entrepreneur and helping people with their spirituality and to really, grab hold of what they're doing. So we got some strong people in this book. There are 4 authors altogether. And all of us are entrepreneurs. Wow. And our dads played a major role in our lives, whether they were with us all of our life, some of our life, none of our life, and we had substitutes, they were there. And also in the book, you'll be able to journal for 90 days. So it's going to be 90 days of you looking at who you are, how you are, looking at your business, working through some things in your head, because sometimes when you think about your parents and you think about, being an entrepreneur and all the things that you got to go through to do that, it gets a little hard sometimes. So we got some good journaling things in there, talking about email marketing, talking about marketing in general, talking about mindset, because if your mindset isn't right, you can't do anything. Would y'all agree with me on that one?
Amen to that.
Yes, you got to get that mindset right first, or you're not going to be able to accomplish what it is that you want to accomplish. And these brave individuals, I want to say thank you for being vulnerable when you were doing the actual story and putting your story out there. Because now we don't know how many people, but a lot of people are going to read your story and be inspired by that. Melissa, how does that make you feel?
A little nervous.
Yes.
A little nervous, but excited for them,
Mhm.
because they're going to get something that they hadn't even thought about before.
Definitely. And I don't think that we give the dads enough credit, enough honor, enough voice. We're always talking about the moms. Moms are awesome. I'm a mom, you're
Me
a
too.
mom, Melissa.
We're great.
But yeah, but we don't give the dads enough. And we always hear, and personally, this is just personal. Alvin has heard me say this before. I think that they make men and dads look so silly on TV in those commercials that they have for most of them. They make them look like they don't have any sense, just falling over yourself, laughing about things. I'm like, no, give them, honor the man, and that's what we want to do with this book and allow you to look at these stories of these people who have come from these men and are making a go at things. What do you have to say about that, Alvin? What is your take on it and how we treat the men and the fathers and all of that?
Well, I think a lot of dads take, second shelf, even when it comes to families, because, they're used to going out and working, and everything is really on the mother, for the family. That's how I felt.
Mhm.
From when I met you, it's just like, the kids were everything. You know, you were the queen running that whole deal, and I was just trying to hold on and learn. You know,
Yeah.
it's good to get recognized as a dad, and more
Mhm.
calls and stuff like that. Really, it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this book, and I hope some people learn from it, and you'll take it to heart. Maybe
Mhm.
Mhm.
contact you to come up with their own one for the
Yeah.
God. You
That
know,
would be good. What an idea, Alvin. I love that. I have to say, and I want to say it on this platform here, that you are a heck of a dad. You took on my kids, became the stepdad, and knocked out the step part, became the actual dad to them, and guided them to where they need to be. And you know how it is when they turn 18, they're their own person and stuff, but they can look back on their life and know that they had a man who is in their corner. I mean, yes, they have their bio dad as well and stuff, but it we can't I don't think we can have too many male mentors, models, and people that we can look toward, especially black men, because it seems like the world itself, especially the country that we live in now, is trying to, knock the legs out from under the black man as much as they can. But we gotta be the women behind them and lift them up and keep them uplifted. I always look at Michelle Obama and how she always stood by in all Barack. Sorry if I mispronounced your name, but just always making him look great. I mean, he looked great by himself, right? But she always
Mhm.
was right there, and he in turn was always saying how much she helped him and uplifted him. And that was one of the reasons for this book. I didn't just want to do a mom, prayers for moms. There's a lot of prayers, there's a lot of mom books and stuff, but the dads don't get looked at. And I felt like this was the time to make the dads, put the spotlight on these fathers, especially these great dads, and these ones who have had some issues. Like me, I didn't even know him. He went through his life, but I still turned out okay, and God still took care of me, and I still found good men that are in my life. And then you, Melissa, with not even knowing your dad for 9 years of your life, and then finally knowing him, and then being able to move forward and accept him for who he is and how he is, and still being able to say yes and recognize him. Yes, that is my dad, that is my father, and I have learned stuff. And then you too, Alvin, losing your dad, at such a young age, at such a pivotal age when you really needed him to guide you into being the man that you would later become. He did such an excellent job, because look at how awesome you are right now. I'm just saying.
I don't know about all of that. I tried filling his shoes. And he died when I was young, and I'm older than that. I'm older than he was, and I
Mhm.
still can't fill those shoes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but you're making him proud. You really, really are. So I just have to say that. And I want everybody, again, go out and get the book. It's only $1.99. Help us get the bestseller with the book. Help us make all these authors here another best-selling author, and Alvin, his first time bestseller. There's journaling for 90 days. So once you get into the book and get through with the book, you're going to see I think you're going to see a whole different person who comes out at the end of the book as compared to what went in. And then we
Mhm.
also have 5 real life entrepreneurs that we're spotlighting in there, talking about their business. Two of them, there's 2 sets of couples in there. There's Cal and Renee Coakley, who own Coakley Financial Services, which is an insurance group. And then there's Ronnie and Lamar Tyler, who are just, super awesome, because they are helping black folks get in business, stay in business, and reach 7, 8 figures and all of that stuff. And plus I have a couple of my coaches in there. Rob Schultz, he was a coach from kind of like way back in the day when I first started. I put him in there. And then I have a new coach in there, Josh Hall, who is I think he does the Web Designer Pro thing. And I had to shout out to Josh, because Josh came in at a time when I really needed him, and I didn't know I needed him. And you know how it is when something happens,
Uh-huh.
somebody refers something to you, and you're like, "Oh my goodness, I didn't know this was like this." And then I just thanked him for it, and he came back, and now we're kind of working together. So that was really cool. And there is one more person I'm trying to think. Oh, Dr. Dwayne Buckingham. who has been a client of mine for a while. He actually does social work, and he actually teaches social workers how to be social workers, him and his wife and his business. He's a consultant. So I got some people in there that are showcasing not only the men, but the women that are beside them, behind them. Got your six, all around, because y'all men can't do nothing without us women. I'm just you got to keep it for real, right? And I do think, even though this may be controversial, but I do think that women have their place in the home, men have their place in the home. And if we stop trying to fight so much, I think we'll have more lovable homes, because it's not really about fighting. We can rule together, we can do it together, but we don't need all this fighting and stuff. And I used to have this thing with problem with submission, submit to your husband. You know how the Bible says, submit to your husband and all of that stuff. And I'm going to tell you stories. This woman ain't submitting to nobody. What is wrong with her? But, after a few years, and now I can say, 30 years in, we have a loving, wonderful marriage. We love each other. Look, he's even still here, and he even still talks to me. So, hey, I got nothing else to say. So, Melissa, but right before I let you go, we get off of here. What would you say to someone who is thinking, should I buy this book or not? What would you tell them?
To buy the book, definitely. Because I think it allows you to connect with your dad even more, whether he's still here or not, whether he was in your life or not. It'll allow you to connect to a side that you haven't explored before.
Definitely. Most definitely love that. And Alvin, what would you say to someone, especially your friends who did not know your father? What would you tell them about getting this book?
Well, the book is important. Yeah, just the inspiration of reading books, stuff that's in the book. It is worth it. The price is cheap, and it's worth to read it, and just get to know, maybe even find out stuff that you want to do yourself. Like I said,
Yeah.
write a book about your dad, your mom, or something. Contact Carol. Go from there.
That's true, because we got a lot of different entrepreneur types there. Like Melissa, she owns and runs and founder of the Hinton Agency that helps entrepreneurs do what we need to do. And then Alvin and I do we do web design and marketing, but we've got other people that are talking about marketing, insurance, consulting, and all of that. So whatever you want to do, it's yours to do it. The world is your oyster. Go out there and take it. And we just hope that this can be a little bit of inspiration and motivation for you. And prayers. I forgot to talk about the prayers. Each of the authors either submitted or has a prayer that accompanies their stories. And those prayers, oh my goodness. Right after I was crying about the story, I was crying through the prayers.
Yes.
Those prayers are something else. Oh my goodness. It just puts you in that mode of, yes, God, where is it that you want me to go? What is it that you want me to do? Help me with that. So you can't lose. You can't lose. It's a great book. It's a journal. You're going to be with it for 90 days. You get introduced to our dads and learn about our stories. And you get introduced to other entrepreneurs who are out there doing it right now, making it work. So you can't lose. Go and get the book, csicorporation.com/dad book. We would greatly appreciate it. And I know that y'all are going to help us get to bestseller. And I want to thank you for that. Yes, definitely. So Melissa, any last words before you leave out of here?
Just blessings to everyone, and be thankful and grateful. Allow forgiveness in your life and healing.
Definitely. Alvin, any last words from you?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for really pushing me to do this. This was one of the biggest things I've done. Again, like I say, I stay behind the scenes most of the time. So coming in front and voicing my opinions and stuff, it just feels good. So I want to thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Oh, Boo. See what I'm talking about, y'all? That's why I stayed with him all this time. I think I'll keep him. Ching. I think I'll keep him. All right, everyone, we're going to let you get out of here on a Friday. It is hot in hot Atlanta. It's probably hot where you are. It's hot everywhere. The world is on fire. So thank you so much for joining us. Go get that book. And if you have any comments or anything you would like us to know, maybe tell us your story about your dad. We'd love to hear it. You can comment underneath this video. This video is showing on YouTube, it's showing on our Facebook page. So let us know what your story is. We'd love to honor you. So thanks, everyone. Y'all have a great weekend. We will see you next time.
Bye.